4 is one of the highly anticipated PlayStation 4 exclusives, possibly the most anticipated PS4 exclusive. It's changing it up for the God of War formula, and in this video, we want to take a look at 10 reasons that you need to be excited for the new God of War title for the PlayStation 4. Let's get right into this. Number 1, let's talk about the story to the new God of War game. Many years have passed since Kratos took his vengeance against the Olympian gods. Having survived his final encounter with his father Zeus, Kratos now lives with his young son Atreus in the world of the Norse gods, a savage land inhabited by many ferocious monsters and warriors. In order to teach his son how to survive in such a world, Kratos must master the rage that has driven him for many years and embrace his newfound role as a father and mentor. Kratos must also contend with the Norse gods themselves as they are taking precautions against him, due to them being aware of his role in the destruction of Olympus. Over the course of their time together, Atreus learns more about his father's complicated and shady past while struggling with whether to be like his father or choose to be his own unique person.
Gods of these realms don't take kindly to outsiders, trust me. When they find you, and they will, they'll make things difficult.
Wait here. I will handle this.
Number 2, the setting of this new God of War game has been a big talking point. And before they settled on Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology was also considered. Game director Cory Barlog said that half the team was for it, but since, quote, there's a lot more about civilization, it's less isolated, less barren, they decided on the Norse setting because they wanted the focus to stay on Kratos, saying, quote, having too much around distracts from that central theme of a stranger in a strange island. In explaining why Kratos is now in the Norse world, Barlog said that different cultures' belief systems coexisted, but they were separated by geography, suggesting that Kratos at some point traveled from Greece to Norway after the conclusion of God of War 3. Barlog also confirmed that this game predates the Vikings. It is the time in which their gods walk the earth. Throughout the game, players will be able to visit some of the 9 realms of Norse mythology.
Will be attacked by all manner of creature. To be effective in combat, a warrior must not feel for his enemy. Close your heart to their desperation. Close your heart to their suffering. The road ahead is long and unforgiving. No place for a boy. You must be...
Number 3, a major change in the new God of War game is that Kratos will no longer use his signature double-chain blades, as he lost these at the conclusion of God of War 3. Instead, he will use a magical battle axe which can be infused with elemental abilities and thrown at enemies. The E3 2016 and 2017 trailers showed that the axe can be engulfed in ice, to which Kratos can hurl at an enemy and magically summon it back to his hand. Kratos will be able to charge the axe and let out a burst of energy that will damage nearby enemies. Game director Barlog said that the axe has a deep-rooted history and connection with the character. It is connected to both the son and his mother. Number 4, another new weapon that Kratos will utilize is a shield. When not in use, it folds up and appears like an armor on Kratos' left forearm. When summoned, the shield can be used offensively and defensively. Kratos will also utilize hand-to-hand combat, a feature originally introduced in Ascension. Number 5, mechanically, the game is also being tweaked. It'll feature elements similar to RPGs, such as archery knowledge points, as well as a Spartan Rage timed ability during battle. This ability appears to be a new take on the Rage ability of the previous installments. There will also be crafting resources for the player to find and other elements introduced.
No, boy!
Number 6, although you'll play as Kratos throughout the entire game, there will be times when the player will passively control Kratos' son, Atreus. One button is dedicated to Atreus, and its use depends on the context. Cory Barlog stated that Atreus is like magic, an additional combat resource, and the player is training him and teaching him. Atreus can shoot lightning arrows with his bow, depending on where the player looks. Over the course of the game, Atreus helps in combat, traversal, exploration, and puzzle solving. When facing a large amount of enemies, he will freely act as a distraction for the weaker enemies as Kratos fights the stronger ones.
Nice! See ya! Above us! Wow! Amazing!
Follow me.
Yes, sir!
Number 7, a big element to God of War has always been the soundtrack and sound direction. Bear McCreary, who is best known for his work on television shows such as Battlestar Galactica and The Walking Dead, will be scoring God of War, composing all new themes for the game. McCreary said that he was called into Sony Santa Monica studio in November of 2014 to meet with music producers to discuss a secret project. McCreary had previously collaborated with SOCOM 4 US Navy SEALs, and for God of War, ideas of folk music, mythology, Nordic ethnic instruments, vocal writing, and classical thematic development were discussed, to which McCreary correctly guessed that the discussions were about a new God of War. He met with Barlog early on and they discussed Barlog's narrative vision for the game. After meeting with him, he knew that the franchise was in good hands because God of War 2, which Barlog also directed, was his favorite installment.
What is this?
It's the World Serpent! I am!
What is it saying?
Number 8, this God of War title is the first God of War game built ground up for the PlayStation 4, so you can expect some technical improvements. The frame rate will be a solid 30 frames per second, and the enemy count has been increased to up to 100 enemies on screen. God of War 3 and God of War Ascension, on the other hand, could only do up to 50. Director Barlog also confirmed that the game was built for the standard PlayStation 4, but the game will benefit from the power of the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Wow, that was something, that fight.
On our journey.
Number 9, the developers claim that they have matched the new gameplay with the same level of accessibility of the previous installments. The gameplay on the surface does look a little bit slower and a bit deeper, but it looks like the accessibility will be retained. The developers also confirmed that the game will be open, but it will not be an open world experience, and QuickTime events will not be like they were in the previous games. The game will not feature any morality system or branching story, and all players will have the same story experience. Also confirmed was that some of the more controversial minigames found in the previous entries will not return. Make that of what you will. And finally, number 10, if you own a PlayStation 4, you're looking forward to God of War and you want to get your hands on the game as soon as possible, so when is the game releasing? Well, as of right now, it's been confirmed for an early 2018 release. Sony is sometimes a bit hit or miss with their release dates and windows, so hopefully that early 2018 release window sticks. An interesting fact to note is that every mainline God of War game was released in the month of March. God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War Ascension all released in the month of March, so maybe this new God of War title will also be released in March of 2018. Fingers crossed.
Your heart to their desperation. Close your heart to their suffering. The road ahead is long and unforgiving. No place for a boy. You must be a warrior.
But not everyone is bad. Mother always said to be open to those who can help.
Who you were before doesn't matter. This boy is not your past, he is your son.
So that wraps up 10 amazing things that you need to know about God of War 4, God of War PS4, whatever you want to call it. Officially, it is just known as God of War. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you excited for God of War? Or has the franchise never been for you? If you're not excited about this new game, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. It looks incredible.